So we did Trump. But we can always talk more about Trump. You never get enough of that.
Yo, what's up? It's the old heads here again with Ed Lyles, my man Ed Lyles,
Yes,
Special
sir.
T. I'm King Bear Sadat. We here having fun like we do, and came to talk to y'all and try to, keep some conversation going and talking about things that really very few are really talking about. But anyway, we want to talk a little bit more about the Keystone XL. Thank you, the Pop Lock Assassin, for giving us that a minute ago, and the Dakota Access Pipeline. One of the things about it is that, one, even though Donald Trump said that he diversified his whatever portfolio or whatever he did and got his sons in charge of it, he's still going to benefit from that money. I hate that shot. But
And so
he's
is
still
so is the
gonna benefit
guy.
from that
So is the
money.
guy from the State Department too. But I think he's in part venture with the people that are putting up the XL pipeline too. So they're gonna make gobs of money off of
But
it.
here's the thing that's crazy to me. I just saw that movie, Deepwater Horizon. Did you see that movie?
Yeah, excellent.
Man, look. First of all, dude, that movie was crazy. Explosions is madness.
Yeah.
But the hubris of this one dude who didn't want to run a test got millions and millions and millions of gallons of oil in the Gulf of Mexico. Basically ruined the wildlife and killed off everything because he didn't want to run a damn test because of money. The whole time they kept talking about was the one dude kept saying, this is not safe. We need to be sure of this. We need to make sure. And the dude kept saying, we 30 days, we 90 days behind schedule. They're counting money instead of thinking about the people. So my thing about the pipeline and all that stuff is that God forbid if that thing busts, what you gonna do when it goes and ruins all the wetlands? That's the problem with it. Like, the idea of let alone the idea of the money that's being made by Trump and how he's the president deciding where money's going to go to and how he's going to benefit from it. But the idea of the possibility of the environmental damage that could be done, thusly him getting rid of the EPA so they can't do any more environmental studies to say this could impact it that way. That's that bullshit he's on. He's basically he's trying to get rid of all the balances, all the balances we have to checks and measures. He's trying to get rid of all the checks and measures to make sure he can do whatever he wants to one, benefit his pocket, and two, under the auspices of his creating some jobs. I mean, yeah, so you get some jobs, but what happens if it destroys, destroys the earth? I mean, hell, the fracking is letting earthquakes, heavy metals out that have toxic poison in it with half-lives of 20,000 years, uranium, crazy shit. But they're all focused on money, but at what cost? At what cost does making money is a zero-end kind of thing. At the end of the day, you're making money is not nearly as important as the potential danger in the lives and livestock and the things that you're killing on this planet. Hell, half the animals in the world is all disappearing because we done run ripshot over the damn world. But what y'all got on the pipeline? Any more on that?
Well, I would tell everybody if they have a chance to watch this documentary. It's called 0 Days, and very, very important documentary. And it talks about how they had invented a bug to put in a computer, make a computer work within a computer, and the bug is intraceable. And so all these subsystems have computers controlling them, and the bug can go into a computer system and say, for instance, there's a pump for the pipeline, and it has to shut down at 20,000 psi. The bug can go in there and shut the pump down altogether, and so the pump will keep pumping. The other pump will keep pumping. The other pump will stop, and that will cause an explosion. And during the documentary, they're saying how they hacked into Iran's nuclear fusion reactor. And it poses a turn at a certain amount of RPMs, but they shut it down and burnt through the nuclear reactors. And so Iran was like, okay, so you did cyber war on us, we can do the same thing to you. And what's so scary about it, they could shut down, we have more computers and we're more relied on computers than any other country. They could really fuck us up behind
Somebody actually warned Trump to tighten up his security because just like he found out other shit, whatever it was, he could find the same shit about him. But yeah, I ain't gonna beat the I ain't gonna beat the dead horse.
0 Days. We got to check that out.
Yeah. I'm gonna check that out definitely. But y'all was talking about this sheriff named David Clark.
Oh,
I don't know anything about this. What's up with that?
So David Clark, he's sheriff of Milwaukee, the crazy black man. Uncle Tom Coon, they can call it whatever, Sambo. So he was on a plane from Dallas to Milwaukee. And so a white guy walked by him on the plane, and he asked him, "Hey, are you David Clark?" He's like, I'm the sheriff." And so flight lands in Milwaukee, so the sheriff had like 7 sheriff deputies come along with 2 drug dogs to pull this guy aside in the back office and basically interrogate him. And I don't think the sheriff has any jurisdiction at the airport, but he did it anyway. And so after that, he went on his webpage for the sheriff's department saying, "Hey, if anybody else come up to me like this, I'm gonna punch him out." And so I'm thinking, is this guy literally has to be insane. So how the fuck are you gonna go and ask this guy if he's the sheriff, and he tells you, yeah, he's the sheriff, he's got a gun, and he got a whole posse of friends that got guns too, and you gonna punk him? That would be insane. There's a history of people being shot by the police for less. So I'm thinking, like the guy would be thinking, I'm not gonna try to whip your ass, but you're gonna put yourself out there threatening people over the internet. You're a black man threatening a white guy over the internet. So
Who do you threaten over the internet? What's that?
Because he's saying if someone approaches him.
Oh, okay. So after this happened, he went on and said, just so the rest of y'all know,
Next.
the next one of y'all roll up on me, I got something for you.
Period.
Wow.
We ain't got to talk. Boop.
He throwing out Ghostface killer threats on the internet.
Yeah, him and Ghostface need to make a video.
Him, Ghostface, and what's my man's name?
The drug guy.
Huh?
The pharmaceutical guy.
Yeah, him, Ghostface, the pharmaceutical guy, and my man, what's the fat dude, the rapper?
Oh, Action Bronson.
Action Bronson.
But Action Bronson wasn't making no threats. It was Ghostface mad at Action
Gotta get them all
Bronson.
together.
Yeah.
Oh
And
my God. You gonna send out a personal threat over the internet.
Who wants to box Lil Wayne? Ain't there something with some shit like that? We need to get a celebrity death match going like they used to have back
Oh,
in the
that's
day.
coming true. They putting that together. Your
Who
boy,
was it? Who was it gonna fight? Who's gonna
Chris
fight?
Brown and Soldier Boy.
Oh,
Your
my
boy
goodness.
what's his name? Mayweather got the money. Mike Tyson doing the training. Mike Tyson and Adrian Broner, they doing the training. What's his name? What's that? The Money Team Promotions is going down. It ain't gonna be in America though.
It's the end of the world as
money,
we
man.
know it.
It's
Dude,
money.
Hey, it's going
it is
down.
just terrible, dumb shit. Dumb shit everywhere.
So my advice to everybody out there in the viewing world: if you see Sheriff David Clark, don't ask him nothing because you might get an ace whooping.
And that's Jack though, cause he's the sheriff.
Man,
Hey,
speaking of which,
some people might actually like him and want an autograph. I don't know who, but it might be.
hey, a broken clock is right twice a day. You know what I'm saying? So, check it out. Jurisdiction. You're reminding me of something. Back in the day, you know how, we got the transit police and how motherfuckers used to act like, fuck them, they transit police. My father used to tell me they got more jurisdiction than any police except for the state police because they can arrest you all up and down Niagara County. They have more jurisdiction than the Buffalo Police and the Niagara Falls Police. They're the Niagara Frontier Police. They can arrest you all up in there. So don't go in there thinking they just some regular cops. They got mad authority. So just talking about jurisdiction. Don't get on that train thinking they some rent a cops. They will tear your ass out the frame and have every right to do it. But so I want to talk about this other thing because we're gonna get into a whole lot of different things. But I saw this thing on Netflix, and it's called Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events. And it's a story, it's a kid's story basically, but it's kind of got a dark side to it. It talks about the story of these kids who lose their parents and what have you. So it's got some dark things to it, so it has adult content. But it actually, the star of it is Neil Patrick Harris, who played Doogie Howser. But anyway, not to get long-winded about it, I was watching the story, and basically what happens is they introduce the two main characters, the little girl who's really smart, little boy who's really smart, and this little baby girl who's like some sort of mutant, if she will, because she does some crazy things. But that's not the important part. What I noticed was, as the characters are developing, I dream of being a writer one day. So I think of things like this. And I think
You're
of
a
things
writer
like,
today.
Thank you. I think of things in the context of how the story's being told. But one of the things I noticed was these kids were white, and basically everybody in the story is white, basically. But the banker who was in charge, I said their parents had died. The banker who was in charge of their family estate was a black man. And I noticed that this black man is in this high position, and he didn't have to be black, but he was. And his wife, when they introduced the wife into the story, she was also black, and she was a editor of a newspaper. And I noticed that she didn't have to be black, but she was. But then there was a point in which the main character, who was represented by, or was played, as I said, by Neil Patrick Harris. I'm going to make this long story short, believe me. Ultimately, was trying to do this whole ruse where he was had a fake wedding where he was going to marry the little girl to get her to basically be in charge of the estate. And the little girl was too young to get married, but because he was her guardian, he could have her get married. So anyway, the whole thing happened where the marriage happened, and they debated whether or not it was real or not. So they said, we need somebody to basically be the lawyer for this case. So the little boy represented his sister. And then the narrator said, and I'm paraphrasing, with the mental genius of Thurgood Marshall and the eloquence of Ida B. Wells. So Thurgood Marshall obviously was a Supreme Court justice, also fought the Supreme Court for the not Roe v. Wade.
Brown versus
Board of Education. Thank you. And Ida B. Wells was I believe she was a businesswoman and editor of a newspaper. But the fact that they chose, this is the writer Lemony Snicket's of the series of Unfortunate Events, who's actually a writer who has another name, it doesn't matter, that he chose these two black people to be his position of greatness. I found it particularly kind of cool, actually. Like, he could have chose any lawyer. He could have chose Athlete Bailey or Donald Trump as the business person. But the fact that in his writing he chose to put these black people in these two positions and to have the benchmark of greatness as these two great black Americans, I think it's something that should not be overlooked. And it's the kind of thing, it's the equality we're all looking for. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just want to be recognized for being, for all the good things we do in this country. And black folks have done a lot of good things in this country. And I thought it was particularly cool that this writer had done that. And I just wanted to sort of throw it out there. So if y'all get a chance, check out Lemony Snicket's series of Unfortunate Events on Netflix. It's really cool. And, you know, speaking of that, there's a bunch of other cool things to watch on Netflix. Like we talked about, The 13th is a great documentary. That's about Hidden Figures is one of the ones Ed was talking about. 13th, that's a movie, right? That's
Documentary.
Documentary.
Documentary movie.
Which one?
That's the one with
13th?
Ta-Nehisi, what's her name? No, the Hidden Figures.
Hidden Figures.
That's the one about the mathematicians, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
That's still in the theaters.
No, I'm talking about Hidden Colors.
Hidden Colors, that's the one you're talking
Yeah,
about.
Hidden Colors.
1, 2, 3, and
4.
4.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
on
that's a
Netflix?
must.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of good stuff on Netflix.
Yep.
Some documentaries. I recommend everybody getting to watch some documentaries and learn what's happening. What do you call it? Subsidize your education and get more educated and start watching some stuff to help stimulate your brain instead of just things that are tantalizing your loin. Anyway, this is the Old Heads. We'll be back. We got one more segment. We're going to end it out in a minute. But thank y'all for watching. We'll be back in a minute.
Yeah, the Hidden Colors, you got to go there.
Yep.
Yeah, you got to sit there with a pen.
Yep. I made my son watch that. He
I
said,
know,
"Yo,
right?
Dad, they really did."